together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, morning. Hola, good to see you. I'm here. Darth Vader is. You misspelled my name on purpose. I know you did. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but almost all my Star Wars stuff is for the dark side. Yeah. I think Anakin was done wrong, man. Yeah, that Jedi Council, man, not making him a master and put him on the council. Man, how mean. Not allowing him to do what he wants with Padme, you know. Right? We're going to try all the Dion's. That would be the Dionne Warwick way. Celine Dion. Neon Dion. A lot of different ways spelled Dion, but it all rhymes with peon. So, what are you going to do? Right? But I love you too, Leisure. Yeah, I could take a joke. I could take a joke. I was just in a meeting. It was on 10th step. I was talking about how if you do a really good thorough, because that's the key word, thorough, 4th step, that you don't have to do another one. He unmutes. He's like, "Good luck with that." Yeah, I kindly ripped him a new one. I did. Hey, if you want to do a 4th step every single year, that's entirely up to you, man. That is entirely up to you. There's different ways to do this, and if you didn't want to be honest and thorough and get down to causes and conditions in your first 4th step, and if you want to continue copying resentments and being an angry person and not do the maintenance steps, that is entirely up to you, man. Kings of Leon, Kings of Dion. I was actually just listening to some Kings of Leon earlier. Yeah. Something about his voice, man. He's got a fantastic voice. He's got this little high pitch in the middle of a lot of his singing. So it also brings me back to when I was living in California. Anyway, which wasn't necessarily a good time, just so you know. Welcome, Daily Trudge. I'm awake today. Not quite as I wasn't mad yesterday, but I was kind of bitchy. Good morning, Clara Joyce. It is good to see you. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Yeah, Scott. Yeah, some people like to go in for what they call an annual house cleaning in case they miss things and things like that. Personally, I enjoy the 10th step where I have the freedom of being able to start my day over, of not having to be angry at somebody because I haven't talked to somebody yet. Things like that. Therapy. Um, yeah, yeah. So let me tell you what it is. And this is my opinion, but it is an educated opinion. Okay. Some people don't want sanity back because then they still have an excuse for their inappropriate behavior. So not everybody wants sanity because that's where sanity returns. What is sanity? Soundness of mind. Well, what they're doing is they're cutting themselves off from the sunlight of the spirit. That's what's actually going on. Just saying. All right. It's what I've noticed. All right. Um, today's reading is Amber sends out one each day. She does her best to make sure it gets out. Sometimes it's a little later in the day, like today, because she says, "I'm like, I'm using your thing from yesterday." She's like, "Oh fuck, I forgot." It's hard to remember when you do something like that to do it every day, especially when trying to get a kid out of the house and get to the dentist and school and work. I tend to forget other people. I tend to forget that other people have lives and they don't have all day to do whatever the fuck they want to, like Dion does. I'm very lucky that way. I am very lucky that way. Thank you, God. There's a price to be paid for it, though. So, but stick with the winners, not the wieners, was actually said in AA for a very long time. That's what I heard when I first got in. And what it essentially means is it's a nice way of saying I'm a wiener and I need to find the winners. All right. Um, and what are the winners? Well, they're the people that do 10 steps. They're the people that have completed the program. They are recovered alcoholics. They are winners because they have completed the program and they live in the now. They live now. Okay. Um, I'll give you a great example. I was just in a meeting and there was a person in there and it was a closed AA meeting. And she said, I'm going to let you know, I am in Al Anon, but I have a desire to stop drinking. Okay. For me, that's good enough for a closed meeting because the only requirement is it. But so he's like, do you see yourself as an alcoholic? Yeah. And I get it. But then so he said, in this meeting, we made the group conscious says alcoholics only. If you don't identify as an alcoholic, we're going to have to ask you to leave. And even though I don't agree with it, they are correct. Every group is autonomous. Okay. And if that is the decision that was made and I was not at the group conscious, I kind of have to follow the rule, whether I agree with it or not. Okay. Now, I am going to say, hey, I'm going to put my phone number in chat if you need somebody to talk to. I'm here. Okay. And somebody else had done it. Now, and it was a woman, which was good because this other person was a woman, probably a little bit, might be able to help them a little bit more than me, right? Maybe. I don't know. You know, that person was a winner. The rest of them were wieners. That's a very good, okay. And even after they said, Dion, and these people don't know me, but it was because I chewed that guy out for, I mean, he clearly just an old cranky guy who refuses to take a look at his problems. It's, I call them bullies, right? Okay. Is he a winner? No, he's being a wiener, man. He's being a wiener. This is just a nice way of saying, stop being a dick. All right. It's a joke. Because we're just trying to be nice about it. But let's get to this reading because I thought it was pretty good. February 3rd, even though today's the 4th, doesn't matter, right? Hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. Good morning. Never go to a doctor whose office plants have died. Irma Bombeck. I've had to deal with doctors, a little bit of doctors lately. And I don't know what it is, but they seem to think it's okay to boss me around. When I was at because I was at the hospital, I was at the ER, and they pretty much said the only way we're going to give you these meds is if you go to a cardiologist. Fuck you. That's what I pretty much told them. I'm like, you're going to give me the meds. What makes you think I'm not going to a cardiologist? I just found out 10 minutes ago I got my Medicaid back. So anyway, all right. Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, that's not the topic. So let's get to the topic. We often hear stick with the winners. Not everyone in 12-step meetings is there for recovery, but many members follow a 12-step way of living. We need to find those people. This is really truly when it comes to finding us. This is really true when it comes to finding a sponsor. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to jump on that because Anybody that listens to me on the regular knows I think this is bullshit. But I'm also trying to be open minded, a little bit more open minded. Okay. On so I'm going to jump on the bandwagon here, and I'm going to give some ways that we can find sponsors. Okay. Um, the ways that we can look for the winners, right? Because if it's going to help, then it's going to help, right? But I'm going to qualify it with if let's just say in the last 8 years, 3 people have asked me to be their sponsor. 3 people. Now, I could take that personally if I wanted to. Nobody loved me. It's not it. I'm a hard ass, man. I'm a hard ass. I may have a lot of fun here. I may do a lot of things. Okay. Try going to some of these community meetings with me. I will tear into these people if things aren't going the way that they need to be going. Okay. I got the detox because I'm a dick. I'm a stick. I can be a stick in your side. Okay. That's how we got that money because Dion was being incessant. I wasn't being a dick. Okay. But I can be very confrontational. But they're going to be in facts and they're going to be the right questions. And then so we can get to a spot, right? So, but looking for a sponsor, what I would suggest is listen, listen. And a great place to probably find a sponsor would be going to speaker meetings or listening to speakers because then they're going to kind of tell their story. And if you can jive with that, go it. You're looking for somebody that's kind of like-minded like you. Okay. But here's the problem. When we get into the program, we don't really know what our feelings are. We're feeling new feelings and things like that. So what I would say is ignore the feelings and listen to your intuition because it is correct. Okay. Now I'm going to give an example here. My stepfather, Roger, he's one of those guys where he can look into your soul and you can't lie to the dude. You can't. And when I was drinking, I hated being around him. I hated it because he could see right through all my fallacies, through all my bullshit because he's a winner. And I knew this. When I'm sober, I love him. Right? Because he's a winner. Okay. Now you could choose to be a winner at any point just by saying, by doing the work, right? Look for a sponsor who gets good things from his or her program. Why pick a sponsor who isn't happy in the program? Look for joy. Take a ride with them. Let them drive. See how they react. And I'll tell you why. Give it a little bit. Give it if you decide you're going to pick your sponsor and I don't blame you. Okay. Then give it a couple. Give it a couple of times. Because I can tell you something. People fake this shit. Here we go. Yeah, and any suggestions here are going to be great. So if you had a way that you picked your sponsor, please feel free to put it up. Please do. Okay, because I need more suggestions. I need help on this because it's not a way that I usually go. Right. So I was told when I started AA, go to meetings and be thoughtful. Pick someone with time. Well, Tanya was a bit like you. She's my sponsor again. She's giving me homework. There you go. See? What's a good sponsor? The number one thing that a good sponsor I think is going to do is keep your ass accountable. They're going to give it to you straight without name calling. There you go. Like buying a pair of shoes. Take your time. Put them on. Walk them around in them a little bit. Not just the left foot, but the right foot too. Okay? And for God's sakes, put on socks. So a little fun in there, right? Somebody you jive with, Now, I don't know how much more I want to get into that because then it feels advicey. It feels advicey. Um, Recovery is hard work, and you deserve the best. Find the best sponsor you can. Remember, ours is a selfish program. We are fighting for our lives. I can agree with that. This is a selfish program. And be selfish about the sponsor that you get. Be so because this is the right kind of selfish. Selfish doesn't have to be bad. Okay. But we alcoholics tend to think in bad terms when it sounds like a bad word. I think people do that in general. I don't think that's just alcoholics, right? You know, um, and it isn't just a sponsor that you hang around. Okay, so here's the thing. What's the saying? If you hang out with five losers, you will be the sixth one. If you hang out with five winners, you're going to be the sixth one. What are your intentions? See, your intentions have changed and you want to become a better person. And be particular. You're allowed to be particular. Yes, you are. I like my sponsor because he never calls. I don't call my sponsees. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I call them, see how they're doing. But that doesn't have anything with sponsor, sponsee. It has to do with the fact that they're friends. Morning, Amber. Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, remember, ours is selfish, but we're fighting for our lives. Yeah. We all need a sponsor. There isn't in the beginning of the program. Okay. Now, here's a question. Do you need a sponsor for the rest of your recovery? Hmm. It's a good question. Doesn't say anywhere in there that you must always have a sponsor. But what you do need is a set of closed mouth friends that will call you on your bullshit. That'll keep you accountable because the sponsor is really for accountability. And so are our recovery friends. See, things change. Oh, drink sounds good. You know, I had somebody call me the other day and they said, Dion, I thought about drinking. Because I didn't even come close to acting on it, but I just want to tell on myself so that it's just not bugging me anymore. See, we can do those things. We can be closed mouth friends. You know, a lot of us are trying to figure out what friendship even is. I sucked at friendship. I drove everybody worthwhile off, man. I drove them off because I didn't want them trying to I don't want them trying to change me. You're correct. It doesn't say anywhere in the big book that sponsorship is. It kind of does in the 12 by 12. This is actually the way sponsorship works. And this is how it is. This is how sponsorship, this is the meaning behind it. And it doesn't account for today anymore. We've just kind of changed verbiage and stuff. But this is the way that it worked. Well, Dion just started a new meeting in Middleton, Colorado, right? Okay. This is the 40s. So we don't have all these clubs and stuff yet. And what happens, and you can still do it this way today, right? And you go out and you find somebody in a hospital or a detox or an insane asylum or in a jail cell or somebody that is willing to listen to what you have to say. Then you talk to them with your depth and weight, and they become willing to go to an AA meeting with you, and you sponsor them in. That is the true meaning of sponsorship. So, prayer for today. Higher power, help me find the best in my program. Help me find a good sponsor so we can get as much from each other in this program as we can. I'm gonna give you, and this is a great prayer. Today's action today. I'll think about what it means to have a good sponsor. I can't. I can't. I just feel so clinical. Or today, God, how can I find a sponsee? Help me find somebody that I can help. I think that's more along the line. Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is, Amber. So I'm just telling you what the true meaning, you know, it's we need to know our spots, and really that's what it comes down to. And there's nothing with sponsor and sponsee, I don't think. But it's good to know where it originated from, kind of like step 13. So should we do a random reading from as Bill sees it? We should. Okay, let's do it. Blind trust. Blind trust. All right. It's called sponsoring versus working with another alcoholic, teaching them steps. I think you already said that. Okay. I'm just telling you what the true meaning was. It's just you take it how you need to. I'm not going to argue on it, that's for sure. You know, um, yeah, there's blind trust. Most surely there can be no trust where there is no love, nor can there be real love where distrust holds a malign sway. But does trust require that we be blind to other people's motives, indeed our own? Not at all. This would be folly. Most certainly, we should assess the capacity for harm as well as the capacity for good in every person that we would trust. Such a private inventory can reveal the degree of confidence we should extend in any given situation. So it sounds like that they're talking about in this is trust to the fourth and fifth step. God guide me to the moments where I can carry my word to the next person. Oh, I know you're not. I know you're not. But thank you for qualifying that. I do. My feelings do appreciate that. I'm not talking to you necessarily. I'm just saying gave it a short word to keep it simple. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Sometimes it's hard with chat. So if I'm going the wrong way with what you said, please feel free to correct me. Right? I do the best that I can. So thank you, Amber. Yeah. Just trying to keep it simple, you know. So who's going to go to the central office delegate meeting tonight? Who's going to go to that? We need more people there. It's at 6:30. If you want the link, let me know. You don't necessarily. You can be a central office delegate. They need a lot of help. They're going to need a lot. I'm going to go and ask about H&I and why we're not doing it, because nowhere is it listed that we're getting it done, and that's hospitals and institutions, and it's part of what we do. It probably has to do with the fact that there's not enough people. So, but yeah, so even in this blind trust, well, who are we going to do that inventory with most likely? Well, probably a sponsor, probably a person that we trust, that we have spent a little bit of time with and we've gotten to know them, right? And so that might be another qualification in a sponsor that you're looking for. Maybe sit down and write down what you're looking for in a sponsor, because when you do that, you create intentions in your head and you'll attract it. You can try that also. I think that would be a great way. Oh shit, I have a meeting at 11. It's very cool. It's very cool. I forgot to send the link. I better do that next. She used to run Denver Cares. She's going to be a great asset to getting more 12th step calls so that we can sponsor people into the program. I just had to say it for fun. Sorry. I thought it was funny. Oh, right. So, yay! Thank you, God. I also have therapy today. So then thank you, God. Everybody could be like, oh, yeah, thank you, God. Dion's got therapy today. All right. However, this inventory needs to be taken in the spirit of understanding and love. Nothing can so much bias our judgment as the negative emotions of suspicion, jealousy, or anger. Having vested our confidence in another person, we ought to let them know of our full support. Because of this, more often than he will respond magnificently and far beyond our first expectations. That kind of went, I'm going to tell you, that kind of all went over my head without some kind of, you know, uh, you know, as far as trust goes, though, I'm finding that, I don't know, because it used to be my trust was limited to the fact that I trusted that you were human. But what that does is it allows to take things out of my perfectionist mind on how another person should act. And that's how I utilized it. Um, but I'm also noticing, like Saturday, and I don't want to bring up any names just because, yeah. Somebody asked me to be somewhere on Saturday, and I said I'm going to be there, and they trust that I will be there because it's not very often that I forget anymore. Thank you, calendar. You know, trust that somebody is going to show up. Trust that somebody will follow through. Um, I know all of you quite well, and I place a lot of trust. I place a lot of trust in you with friendship and being supportive, and and it's nice to have that trust amongst my friends. It all the friends I ever had talk shit. They always talked shit behind my back. Always, you know. And not the, hey, did you notice Dion is kind of going through it? That's not talking shit. No, 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 no. Right? You know, it's quite often that I'll sit down with somebody else and we'll talk about a third person, but it'll only be in the spirit of what are we going to do so we can be better about it and be better for that person. That's what the spirit's going to be. How we become better and what's the solution. There isn't going to be talk. Well, they're crazy and they're toxic. You know, a person's just toxic. You need to stay away from them. You know, and I've noticed that I've done it in the last 2 3 months with one of my friends, and I went back and apologized and said, you know what? I have no right to tell you anything about anyone. Not in this situation. You know, um, because people can change. I believe that, and I believe it because I changed. I'm not the person that I used to be. So, yeah. But thank you, Amber, for posting that so we would have a topic. Um, if you have other topics, it's something that what I'd like to get into is instead of me picking a topic each day, that we're kind of one day forward on the topics, if that makes sense. Um, and because I kind of feel like, hey, Dion, I'd like to hear about this. Okay, well, we can do that. And then, I'm going to give you props for it too. And it just kind of gets more people involved. These are little ideas that I have. Um, so at the same time, I'm not going to go around buttonhole. Hey, give me a topic give me a topic, give me talk. I can't do that either. Um, I'm also going to set a goal around my podcast that I want to get back to doing one a week. One a week. When I'm consistent with that, it does really well. And part of the reason is because my count is at 7,731, and I want to get that sucker to 10,000. It's actually above 10,000 between Facebook and YouTube. I had a lot of watches. I had a lot more watches on YouTube than I even knew. The Daily Trudge on Facebook is like 235 views this month. I'm like, okay, did they watch over a minute? Okay. And a quarter of them did not. And At the same time, that's not it's not like it's huge, but it's good to know that I'm reaching more people than I thought I did. So that's kind of cool. All right, well, I better get that email out so that so I can meet with Christine. So I'll put dime to dollar. She's in the program, one way or another. She worked at Denver Cares forever and East Metro Detox. So it'd be weird if she wasn't, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if she knows my mother. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. And thank you always for the chat, giving your experience, and of course the support, man. The support. Thank you, everybody. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.